Okay, so we are now on Unit 2, Class 3. And this is the big boy. This is about equilibrium. This is where demand meets supply, and we need to plot this on a graph. So equilibrium is a word we use a lot in economics, and that's why I've put that beautiful stone balancing on top of the other one. So it's defined as the quantity of goods or services being consumed matching the quantity supplied in the market. If you don't know about demand and supply, have a look at my last two lessons and let's get moving forward, okay? Here is our demand and supply schedule. Looking at these two things, can you identify what the price of ice cream should be in the market? We've got the people that are buying, that's our demand schedule, and we've got the businesses that are supplying, that's our supply schedule. So, at what price are they both happy? Well, we can see that at $2, people are willing to buy 7 million ice cream cones. And at $2, suppliers are willing to supply 7 million ice cream cones. So we have a match here of the numbers of demand and supply. That is what we are looking for. That's our equilibrium right there. So here it is on the graph. Let me just quickly explain the graph again. On the bottom, we have quantity of ice cream cones, okay? The number of ice cream cones that are in the market. On the y-axis here, we have the price of ice cream cones. So we've got our number of cones in the market and our price. Now we have our two lines, if you remember. Demand line, this is us, the customer. When the price is super high, do many customers want to buy the ice cream? Not really. It might be too high in relation to their income, or other products like ice lollies might be cheaper. So at this price they don't, but as the price goes down, more customers are willing to buy this good or service. Supply. These are the people that make the goods, the factories, right? So when the price is low, these guys are not very willing to produce in their factory. They can produce other goods that make a profit. But when the prices get higher and higher and higher and higher, more factories are willing to produce these goods and services. And what we have is this clash here in the line in the middle, where we have an equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. This is the exact amount of products in the market that people are willing to buy and producers are willing to produce, where they both have a good handshake agreement. Now, the interesting thing about this theory is this is moving all the time. Think about a stock market. When you go online and you try and buy a stock, every second the stock price is changing, right? And it's just like that, where the line moves up and down, up and down, up and down. But for this purpose, we just freeze this time period and have a look at where the equilibrium price and quantity is, okay? Now, so let's take this graph here, okay? We can see that in this case, on this graph, demand has increased. And when demand increases, we can see that the original equilibrium price has changed. So more people have decided they want to buy this good or service. Maybe they advertise well, maybe it's really popular. We can see that the quantity of ice creams bought has increased and the quantity of ice cream supplied has increased, but also the price has increased as well. So what basically happened is people wanted to purchase more of these. The supplier was like, wow, this is great. The price is going up because people keep buying them. We're selling out of these goods and services. We should produce more. Not only should we produce more, but we should charge a higher price. So the market naturally adjusts to this. We call this the invisible hand. The invisible hand has adjusted these prices, okay? Next, demand goes down. People are less interested in buying ice cream. So now the price has gone from $2.20 to $2, and the quantity on the market has gone from 8 to 7. You can see we have a movement along the supply line and a shift in the demand curve. So it's just less popular at every price level. People are less willing to buy ice cream, okay? Maybe it's winter. And we can see that because of this, the suppliers are going to have excess stocks. They've produced all this ice cream at this point. No one's buying it. So how do they get rid of it? They lower their prices and they produce less. Again, this is the natural invisible hand-taking effect. What about supply shift? What about supply shifting back? maybe suppliers have shut down, or maybe they've decided that costs are getting too high to produce. Suppliers shifted back, so what we can see is less ice creams produced on the market, and we can also see an increase in price. This is a big problem, and it causes inflation in society when your suppliers leave, when your producers leave. Really, really big thing. It happens a lot. Think about COVID, when lots of factories were closed. Supply of lots of things reduced, and therefore prices went up. Crazy times. Next, what about supply going forward? Cost of production goes down. Suppliers are like, let's produce more. So they produce more goods and services, and there might be initially excess stock, and over time they lower their prices, and therefore they meet the conditions of the consumer, and the price goes down. More is sold at a lower price. Right, so let's look at a real life style exam question. We're going to watch some videos, okay? And we're going to determine whether demand or supply changes and the effects of this. So what I want you to think of is this is your base graph, okay? Draw your base graph, have a think of the base graph. You're going to watch the video and determine if demand or supply moves, and then what changes, price or quantity, okay? In the exam, we always look to analyze. It's called AO3. So we're analyzing these movements. We're explaining these movements, okay? First video then.
About one particular bathroom item a little more than normal lately.
Getting, 100 rolls of toilet paper, that really didn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's exactly what most Americans are doing, with toilet paper sales up more than 100% from this time last year. Believe it or not, this isn't the first time a crisis has created a TP frenzy.
Do you know what else is disappearing from the supermarket shelves? Toilet paper. Ha ha ha, you can laugh now.
In 1973, that rumor sent panicked shoppers to, you guessed it, the toilet paper aisle. Therapists like Dr. R.G. Allen Wilson say herd mentality could be to blame.
We kind of don't really think about what we really need. It's just kind of what everybody else is doing.
And there's also what's known as zero risk bias.
In this situation, it's like I'm not going to have buyer's remorse. There's zero risk to buying all this TP.
Or even hoarding.
We are actually fortunate. We have quite a bit of toilet paper in stock, which makes me want to buy it since it's available, but I do have some at home, so I'm not going to get it, not going to hoard it.
But there is one other thing to consider. We actually do need more toilet paper. With nearly 95% of Americans under stay-at-home orders, imagine all the bathroom breaks normally taken at offices, restaurants, or stores, now all happening under our own roofs.
We have moved faster than I've ever seen us move before.
Kimberly Clark's Arist Masteritas oversees brands like Cottonelle and Scott, both.
Okay, so a massive increase in demand for toilet paper. Can you show that on the graph for me? Pause the video. All right, does your graph look anything like this? What we're showing here is that demand has moved forward, okay? Suppliers are needing to adjust quickly because demand has moved forward, products are going to sell out, and so suppliers are definitely going to produce more. We move along the supply line, so we've got the same suppliers increasing their production, yeah? They're more willing to produce at this price. But also they're going to increase the prices, because if you're selling out, why wouldn't you increase the prices? It would reduce demand enough. It would stop the spread of demand enough to stop everything from selling out. So this was a great time for toilet paper producers. Very, very interesting times during COVID. Who thought toilet paper would be so popular? Next. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. What's going on there? Samsung Galaxy Note exploded. Saying that, it does look like it's in a place that takes apart mobile phones, so who knows? So, can you pause the video and draw the graph for that one? Did you get something like this? So, people are going to see those phones exploding. Demand for them is going to reduce. The demand line shifts to the left. Price of this product is going to go down because no one's wanting to buy it. Quantity sold is going to go down. The supply is going to be less in the market. And all we need to do is draw the line, explain the x-axis, explain the y-axis, explain the equilibrium movement, and then move on. All right, here's another real life example. Cannabis smoking in Bangkok.
It's been like a pleasant surprise, if you get what I mean, because I came to Thailand, I didn't expect it, so like I think it adds to the scene really nicely, to be honest. Like I've enjoyed just having a smoke, having a drink. It's been cool.
เป็นที่แรกในประเทศไทยที่มีห้อง smoking room นะคะมี welcome drink นะคะแล้วก็มีระบบควบคุมนะคะอากาศครบวงจรค่ะที่ให้บริการนะคะความเป็นอัตลักษณ์การของไทย
So the opening up of these shops, how's that going to affect demand and supply in society? Well, I hope you got this. The supply of cannabis producers and sellers is going to increase dramatically. So this means the competition for them is going to be really high as new people enter the market. Prices are going to go down, quality should go up, and quantity should go up as well. So I'm hoping that you got an idea of how these movements on demand and supply graph works. This is the basic fundamentals that we need to make sure we can do well in the exams. There's one more that I want to show you. One more example, okay?
I'm Brittany Borer with the Food Institute with an update on the latest climate change impacts to the global economy. It's no secret that the frequency and intensity of weather events have increased all around the world. In China, rice harvesting came to a halt due to severe lack of rainfall. Not only did rivers and other water sources dry up, but hydroelectric equipment also failed to maintain crops. Lack of rain also hurt crop growth in some regions of India, while extreme flooding in other parts of the country over-flooded fields. Europe wrapped up the summer with 45% of the continent experiencing drought warning conditions. The European Union forecasted harvests down 10 to 15% compared to the average of the previous 5 years. For the food
Okay, so you know what to do. Pause the video, draw the graph, see if you've got it. Did you manage to get something like this? A shift back in supply because all of the crops are damaged due to poor weather. So that means their total yield, their total production is reduced. And this leads to a situation where we have fewer crops available and the price of these crops has gone up significantly. It hurts more that this is a staple good and it would be more inelastic, but we'll talk about that in later lessons where we look at the gradients of these lines. But this graph provides a fundamental basis, okay, for pretty much everything in the market, and it shows you how the invisible hand operates. All right, I'm hoping these 4 exercises, real life exercises, really helped you get to grips with the graph. You know how to analyze and explain it. And next, we're going to move on to more complicated forms of this graph like PED, PES, how these gradients change. If you're interested in any private lessons, please click the link down below and have a great day.